Hi everybody, welcome today. Welcome to the Global Light. If you haven't been here before, this is a kind of a community thing. I'm Steve Rother. I'm the channel for the group here at espavo.org. And we've been working on quite a few things globally, mostly in the Light Master groups. We've been doing a monthly global peace meditation. I had one scheduled for actually next Sunday. That's going to be canceled now because we brought it forward a week. There's some things I want to describe to you to tell you what's going on here from the group's perspective so that we can all focus on that and make a difference. The main thing about this, of course, is the fact that when we hold hands, we can create miracles. It's that simple. So today we're going to do a short channel in just a few minutes after I kind of describe what's going on and what's happened. In the Light Master group, which is our highest level of people that we work with. And of course, once people have been in there over a year and have other qualifications, they can actually join our doctoral program and become doctors of metaphysics or doctors of metaphysical healing if they wish to go that far. That's all explained on the front page of espavo.org. But we've been working on things because the group actually uses this group of people to actually work on global events and show them things. Now, not just in Light Master, but over the last several years, probably the last 3 years, I believe, the group has been saying some things that I had a little problem with, to be really honest with you. They were saying that we were at war, and we didn't know it. We weren't aware of it. And they've said this over and over and over again. I actually believe it goes back to 2019, but I'll leave that up to you. So Steve has a very difficult time with that sometimes because I really don't want to add to conspiracy theories on this planet. They're rampant. We know that they have affected us all in different ways, and I really try to stay away from that. And yet, the other day, one of these things surfaced. And I want to explain it to you and share this with you so we can all see what's taking place. And then we're going to do a little brief meditation from the group. We'll actually bring the group in and do a connected meditation to be able to work on peace. And we're not going to worry about all the things that we're going to talk about because that's not what we're going to focus on. I do want to educate you to what the group has been saying and what they have been talking about all this time about the fact that we're at war and didn't know it. Well, a couple things happened. It's very difficult to get this information, I must say. You can research this and find information out there. I'll explain that too, but with our elections that are going on already, the news is just completely tied up with all that, shall I say, BS? The group calls belief systems BS, but at the same time, I just wanted to anyway, whatever the case, we're going to stay out of that stuff. But the most important part about this is there's things going on that we can do something about. Now, besides the fact that the group has been talking about this for a couple of years, we also have something that took place here in Light Master. Light Master, we get together the first 2 weeks, and actually it's going to start being 3 weeks, 3 Fridays of every month. Plus, they have access to the other events that we use as well. So what happens here is about on January 26th, the group had a special message for the Light Masters. And they again repeated this whole story about we are at war, we don't know it. And I thought they were talking about Ukraine. I thought they were talking about Israel, Palestine, all the things that are going on this planet. And that's not what they were talking about because they kept saying, you're not aware of it yet. So we had this process because the group wanted at that point on January 26th, we did a special thing for the Light Masters. It's for those of you, and welcome to all you Light Masters that are here today. Thank you for showing up. We had a special connection, and it's still on the Light Master page. For those of you who are not Light Masters, you can actually go into that page, but you won't see anything. It's limited to Light Masters altogether. But there's a special meditation and a group connection that the group wanted to do on January 26th. We focused our energy on that. on making people aware of what's going on and try to uncover it, because they kept saying the challenge isn't so much that this is taking place, the challenge is you're unaware of it. So we did a meditation on that. We did a whole class on that. And it was a short class. And anyway, we worked on that piece of it. The interesting thing happened just a couple days ago. And I did put another Lightmasters. I know some of the Lightmasters get behind, but if you can jump forward to take a look at the page, so you make sure you're getting those special announcements, because they are timely and very important. But what took place was it was uncovered. And the group actually said that we had an effect on that, and that the Lightmasters bringing this to everybody's attention had a huge effect on this whole process. So thank you, Masters of the Light. That's what the group calls you. And I appreciate that. Now today I'd like to explain what that was, what is going on, and what's taking place. You may have noticed your internet doing some strange things. Not so much about being hacked or having viruses on your computers, although that has always been rampant, probably a little bit more so now. But you also notice that things have changed. Sometimes you go to a site and it takes longer to load or something of that nature than it normally would. Most of these are fairly imperceptible. You just think, oh, something's going wrong with the internet or something's not quite right. But there have been a lot of hacking going on. Now, what is hacking? Well, the other day, I'm going to have a seat here, so I'm going to be with you for a few minutes anyway. The other day, Christopher Wray, who is the head of the FBI here in the United States, went before Congress to tell them something very important. They found massive hacking going on many places having to do with the internet, having to do in different places that were absolutely amazing. They talked about the communications. You see, every place, every so often, there are these routers, mostly big Cisco routers and things of that nature that direct the traffic. They were actually being hacked. Now, what was happening with this? Actually nothing was happening with it, but there were viruses and hacking software that were being installed in these. This is actually what the group said, and I have to tell you about what the group is saying because it's not available. Those comments are not available on our news. The reality is they really don't want to, the powers that be don't really want us to know how serious this was. It was very serious. And you can find out about it because there's different things about that here. I'll show you one right now. I only pulled up one today because we've got so many things going on. This is actually the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. They all have different parts of it. But they basically revealed that China has been hacking our infrastructure systems. What does that mean? Well, we're talking about not only all the routers, they easily could have taken down the internet for everybody. They were in our communication systems, which is our wireless technology. They were found in the utilities themselves, power, lights. We found them massively in the water systems. The water treatment plants were found to have these hacking softwares. Let me look at the other ones here. In different parts of the world, traffic control. Now, I don't know whether that means traffic control for controllers dealing with airplanes or not, but traffic control in general was one of the areas that there were. There were many of these places. So he just went before Congress to tell them about it, and he laid it out. And he simply said, we're going to find all these viruses now that we've become aware of them. Thank you, Masters of the Light. I wanted to say that because the group actually says you had an effect here. Now, again, I didn't bring this public at that time. I'm very hesitant to do things that sound like conspiracy theories and so forth about this. But it was found out. Now, recently, Mr. Wray has come back before Congress and released statements saying they found it all and they wiped it out. That's not quite true. They're going to be working on this for a while to be able to find everything because these worms have worked their way into deep systems. that we knew nothing about. So there's a lot going on with this. Be patient with it. If you happen to call your bank and find out that there's a 3-hour wait, you can sort of tell what's going on. If you, this has happened before in different ways, and no one's really found out what it is. Now they have found it. Now, is it the only one? No. And the other thing about this is we have to keep in mind something really important. And that's that China is not the bad guy. As much as we'd love to say, oh, China did this or China did that, the reality is the internet began in the United States. The computer began and was discovered in the United States. The technology of the cell phone was discovered. And so we've been way ahead of things. And in fact, we started the whole cyber warfare. We hacked into other people's stuff. So this is really just a fact of being outdone at our own game, if you will. And the other reason that Christopher Wray was before Congress recently, not the first time, but the second time, was because of the fact that he wanted Congress to know that we are severely outnumbered, having to do with cyber attacks. Is it just China? No, it's Russia, it's China, it's North Korea, it's Iran, it's all these people. We hacked into Iran stuff that was unbelievable. They were doing all these tests and so forth to try and get their atomic weapons. And we hacked into their systems and we made things go haywire in different ways. It took them years to find that out. So we are experts at cyber hacking other people. Now we have been hacked. So I wanted to bring that to your attention because it is something that's going on. Now, what does that have to do with war? Well, it actually ties in with a lot of it. From what the group showed me, they were going to wait until we got a little closer to our elections. Not that it was really associated with the elections or that they were trying to go one way or the other, but we are busy. That's all we see on our news is this crazy stuff about this person said this and this person said that and this person did this and these people are... It's insane right now. For me, I think we ought to throw everything out and start over again. That would be wonderful. It would be nice if we had a democracy in the United States. We do not. We never did. Anyway, I won't get into that process, but we can have an effect on all of this. Now, what does this have to do with Israel? What does this have to do with Palestine? What does it have to do with Ukraine? It's simply the fact that we are busy in all these areas. It would have been the perfect time to simply take our systems down. Why would they want to take our systems down? Well, China has very obvious plans. They have very clearly determined that they want to take over Taiwan, that they have the one China policy, Hong Kong, everything else, they want it under one roof. And different places are really resisting that. Taiwan, we would have gone to their aid if we had the resources. If we're busy in all these other areas, we wouldn't have had the resources. So it would have been a perfect timing to do some of those things. That's what the group is telling me happened. Is it over with? No, it's not over with. It's going to take a different route. And yet, the same thing that we did with the Lightmaster group a couple of weeks ago, we can do now. And that's why we wanted to have this global meditation to hold hands and to work to see a higher connection, to start visualizing things, to start visualizing the fact that we can all start uncovering the truth. We can all start sharing and we can all start connecting in ways that we haven't done in many years. So rather than this country being the bad guy or this country being the bad guy or the Russians doing this or China doing this and all this other stuff that's going on, because it is going on. And it's orchestrated. And the reality is there are people on this planet that the group has said many times that actually believe they can win a nuclear war. That's horrible. And of course, the huge amount of misinformation that is going out is absolutely ridiculous, but there it is. We are susceptible to that in many ways. So I'm going to invite you all to please do your own research. Now you have to understand Google is not the God that everybody thinks it is. You can look things up on Google, and the funny part about it is I'm in Las Vegas. I can look something up on Google. You can ask that same exact question with those same words in Holland and come up with a slightly different answer. And if you're doing that in North Korea, you're going to come up with that. I don't even know if they have access to Google in North Korea, but the reality is they're going to come up with a different answer. Google does that intentionally, not to mislead you, but to try and give you what you're looking for. This is really dangerous, and it's called a rabbit hole. We're going to actually do some podcasts to try and educate people on some of these things away from the spiritual arena. It's not going to be stuff from the group, but we're going to try and bring people up to date on some things that we see and try to let you know. We'll let you know more about that at a later time. But this is where we're going today. And today, what we really want to do is visualize a time of no more secrets. And that's the essence of today. Is it going to take hold in that way? No, but we might uncover some more of these wonderful little secrets, because all this stuff can only happen subversively. It can only happen in those areas. So we can make this shine. We can literally bring some of these things to people's attention, let them know what's going on and what's taking place. And with that, I'll invite you to come join me for just a few moments. We're going to go into meditation, and I will bring in the group. Now, I will say the group has recently, if you haven't seen the GlobalLight broadcast last week, the group has come in, or the two channels that we've done for, or the channel that we've done for Light Masters, the group has come in with a new aspect of the group, kind of like a new entity. There have been 7 of the 9 that have been, because I'm one, so 7 of the 9 that have been identified, and then there have been some that haven't been identified. There have been 2 that haven't been identified. One of those is here, and taking kind of the collective voice of the group. So my voice will sound a little different when we channel this time than previous times. I have been closing my eyes. They've asked me to close my eyes, but they've also just released me from that restriction. I think it was kind of a test, to be really honest with you. It was kind of funny because the first time I did it, I'm the only one running the whole studio here. I do have help from people in different places of the world that make sure our stream's going out. And if it don't, they put these little red faces in the chat room and I can see what's going on. Not the YouTube chat room, but we have a private chat room for that, for exactly that purpose. And I couldn't see it because my eyes were closed. So at one point, I started leaning back a little bit, cracking one eye to see if I could see if there were any problems. And the group started laughing. That was so funny. They go, we knew you couldn't do it. We knew you could. So anyway, I've been closing my eyes for the channel today, and probably from this point forward, they've given me permission to open my eyes. They really wanted me to focus on this new energy. It is a collective. And for those of you who've already written in, I will say that some of you have said, I miss Ilra, or I miss the Keeper of Time, some of the aspects of the group that have already been there. They will be back. We will do special channels from each of them from time, mostly in Lightmaster to begin with, but we will do that. The collective voice of the group has changed a little bit, and I just want to kind of warn you about it because it's new. So welcome today. Thank you all for being here. I hope we don't take this as again, my concern is that we overreact or we do things in conspiracy. That simply will not work. The other concern that the group has been showing me is very simple. We have been attacked from the United States, from the Husis, from the rebels in different areas and so forth, and we are reacting to that. The challenge the group says about this is war begets war. Very simple. We can only resolve these things through communication and being able to talk to what we call our enemies. We're not doing that right now. The reality is we may be on the verge of a global world war, and we can have something to do with that. We can not only let our voices be heard about this, but the more important thing also is that we come together and we share a truth together of what is taking place. And Is it bad? Is it difficult? Is Joe Biden doing the wrong thing? This is pretty much determined by the reaction of the people. In any event, again, I'm not going to get into the right or wrong about it because we can simply go all crazy, but the reality of it is we can't solve war with more war. It's not going to work. So right now, we'd like to hold a peace meditation. The timing of this is absolutely incredible. And as I mentioned, Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, has come before Congress again and said, we got all the viruses. That's not true, not according to the group. They're going to be finding them probably for years. So that also allows us to get better security systems, to understand what we're doing, and not to hire more cyber hackers to get them back, but simply to let the truth fly out, to be able to see things, and to start living in a time of no more secrets. That is scary, absolutely scary. And yet it works, little by little. And it doesn't mean that we're going to lose our privacy. What it means is we'll stop being influenced by misinformation. And I invite you all to join me in that aspect. If we hold that vision right there, and we can see a time where we see these things coming and we understand them and we can stop them simply by being aware of them, then we'll step into that new energy. And that's what we're looking for today. So I'll invite you to hold that energy right there and to bring a wave. The group called it a blanket of peace. We're going to do that same visual to where we simply bring this light, airy blanket of peace over the entire planet. And we start seeing each other as fellow spirits pretending to be human. That's what we can work. If we can stay out of the reactions and move into action, and we can stay out of judgments, we can do this. And that's the idea of Lightworkers globally. And with that, I'm going to step into bringing the group in here with a little background music too. Greetings, dear ones. We join you in such a joy. You are reaching your hands out to speak to each other, to touch. You can do something on your side of the veil that we cannot. And that's to speak to each other through your voices, to touch each other, to let each other know you are there and that you're working in the same problems that everyone else is. Oh yes, you are individuals, each and every one of you, and yet we tell you, you hold a higher vision. You have brought special energy to planet Earth, and each of you has a special face that you have reserved. It's very magical to see, and we welcome you to sit in the chair of your own power now. Take a deep breath. And feel your own guides join you on this journey, your own channels to come in if you so desire, and to join us as we envision a time on planet Earth where you can open the door. Take a deep breath. Let your eyes close for a moment and bring that beautiful light in through the top of your head. Let it dance around your body, connecting your head and your heart. That is how one manifests on planet Earth. Beautiful. Excellent. You know difficulties will arise on Earth. You may open your eyes if you so choose. And we will give you tools to work exactly with those things. to try and understand that you are creating your reality one step at a time. The truth is that you create the path right below your feet, just before your feet hit the ground. And you've done so since the beginning of time, as you call it. You know, time's actually an illusion, but we'll get to that another time. Yes. Take a breath. Fill yourself full of that beautiful light that is yours. Excellent. Dear ones, the nature of reality is starting to unfold. You are starting to pull aside the veil of forgetfulness. The veil itself is a place where you store things. You store your memories of your previous lifetimes. You also store what you call your higher self, which allows you to divide up into multi-dimensions and be here at 11 different spaces at the same time. Connect with those now. They hold your perfection. They hold the reality of who you are. You can step out of all of these dramas. You can play with them if you wish. You can play with all the misinformation. You can play with all the information if you wish. And the reality is you can also just step to a higher realm and look at it from afar, the same way that we do. So take a breath. And again, we invite you to hold that vision deep in your own systems. To see a time where you can look at planet Earth and all that's going on. You will see beauty, we promise you. Yes, you're looking at all the chaos right now. Well, that's part of the way your systems are designed, are they not? If they were just to show you beauty, they could not make money at it, could they? So you must understand the way that you have worked has a lot to do with profits and money. So look past that for a moment. Start grasping some of the beauty of planet Earth and the beauty of your fellow man. Because no matter what side of an argument you think you're on, you can always step back far enough to see the spirit. When you see the spirit, you see everyone holding hands. They're all part of each other. They're an integral part of each other, never to be fully separated. That is the illusion you deal with on planet Earth. So take a breath and hold out your hands energetically. Allow them to be received. Allow yourself to feel that beauty of the touch of another human, of another spirit playing that game alongside you. Know that you all have the same motivation, no matter who you are. If you step back to see that, you have the idea right now. And with that, we invite you once again to take a deep breath and close your eyes as you release it. Find that beautiful center of energy that you all share. Feel your guides behind you, wrapping you in their arms of love. Feel the security, the nurturing from them, what they have been bringing you all along. Yes, they whisper in your ear, and most of the time you choose to go other ways. It's not wrong, dear ones. There is no right or wrong. That's the funny part about it. So see yourself as the spirits that you are. There are those, dear ones, that have connected both sides of the brain, that are able to walk in a higher vibration every step of the way. You've seen some of these and elevated them to certain aspects where you worship them. What if we told you you are one of them? You just don't remember your magic. So let's bring that in right now. Let your guides bring you the higher vision of who you really are and what your capabilities are. Take another breath. Blow it out forcefully. Feel your heart moving, connecting the other hearts of the world. Blink your eyes open slowly, letting in one ray of light at a time. And know that you are creating home on your side of the veil right now. There is much help available to you. We will work on this. We will give you many aspects of being able to see the higher vibrations of who you truly are. And know that even though we are teaching all of these wonderful little classes, the reality is all you're only helping you to remember who you are. Welcome home, dear ones. And you masters of the light, you are doing really well. We thank you. Espavo, dear ones. We leave you now for a short time to take your reality back, knowing that every step you take is making a difference on this planet. You're also leaving this beautiful trail of light that we've spoken of many times. Others will follow those trails and find the beauty of home, right where you left it. It is with the greatest of honor we leave you for now. But know that you're playing a beautiful game as spirits. It's a joyous experiment in light. And you're doing much better than you think. If you're discouraged at everything that's taking place in the earth, turn off the television. Set down the newspaper. See the light deeply within you first. Find your inner truth of who you are. Then you can look at these with a different perspective. Well done, dear ones. We ask you simply to play well together as you create this new game. Well done, dear ones, well done. Espavo, thank you for taking your power. I've been channeling for almost 28 years. And the interesting part is this almost feels new. It's a little more difficult for them to come in, take over, and it's a little more difficult when they leave. So I try to give it just a moment to regain my composure. And thank all of you to be a part of this world at this time. As the group says, your space has been reserved. We're honored to be with you. We hope to bring you together in a community of light. We'll be doing these free seminars, if you will, or free meditations on a regular basis. We had one scheduled for next Sunday. We've brought that forward. We're not going to be doing it next Sunday unless the group has a new one. Make sure your name's on the list if you wish to be notified about these. Go to espavo.org. You'll find plenty of places to sign up for it. And if you'd like to support this work and help make it available to other people, there's a place right on the front page of the website where you can make tax-deductible donations. We are a 501c3 nonprofit spiritual corporation here in the United States. So in the United States only, it is tax-deductible. Thank you for your support, not just financially, but also for being here today. Well done, everybody. I'm Steve Rother. I'm honored to be the spokesman for the group. I am one of the 9, and I'm very honored to do it. The next course that's coming up will be coming up in a couple weeks. It'll be teaching to activate your channel. We had 2 days set aside for that. The group has asked me to add another day to it, so we have 3 days as part of that. We'd love to see you there. Espavo, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll talk to you then. Thank you for taking your power.